Hello, everybody. Lex the Gray here. This is going to be a special episode. I've decided to do a battle death match using Savage Worlds combat. We have these two groups of factions. We have this group of five bandits against these five zombies. The four smaller bandits are goblins. They are extras. So one wound, dead. These four zombies in the front are extras. One wound, dead. Each faction, each group has a wild card. This guy is actually a rogue elf. He leads the bandits. These are his stats on this document. Take a snapshot of that. That's basically what this guy has. So he can take 3 wounds. The goblins themselves, there you go. So, take a snapshot of that. Now, to side red, as far as the dice, when rolling, the bandits, the team bandit will use blue. Team zombie will use red. That's typically how I roll the dice for distinguishing both sides. The zombie mutant, as I call him, is this freakish looking zombie with almost wings. He has a club. There is his card. Found these cards online. He has a club. I tried to match the weapons for each extra and wild card based on what they are wielding, except for the extras, mainly just the wild cards themselves. So this guy has a club and claws, somewhat from the book. A lot of these stats are actually from the Savage World books, the World's Deluxe Edition, Explorer's Edition. The Bandit has, based on his figure here, he has a dagger, short sword, and a bow. Now, in this game, we will be using the distance, the pace, because, again, this is not a grid, this is a Battletech map. So we'll be using a measuring tape to measure distance, and I will draw cards per group. So basically, here's how I'm going to do it. In regards to bennies, each wild card will get 3 bennies. So both leaders have 3 bennies to spend. But for the group of 4 extras, they only have 2 for the entire group of 4 per side, respectively. When someone is shaken, no matter if it's an extra or a wild card, they will have a white poker chip underneath them. Once they're obviously wounded again, the extras die. I will use red poker chips to signify wounds underneath the wild cards, and they will stack up to 3, obviously the fourth being death. So, I think that's all the housekeeping. Let's draw some cards. We will not be using jokers, and I will not be going by just strictly by the numbers, not by their type of card. So let's draw one for the leader of the zombie mutant. He's a 2. The group of zombies are a 1, an ace, a jack for the bandit leader, then an 8 for the bandit goblins themselves. So obviously, we'll be working our way somewhat this direction. Obviously, ace goes last. So there's the order. We'll keep those on the field. I'll keep these, try to keep these on camera, like so, basically in that order. Okay, so the first to move is the bandit leader. Not much role play here. This is strictly a death match, but just for some context, these bandits are just strolling along through the wilderness, and then these zombies, perhaps their graves were um, bothered. Their graves were uh, dug up, and they got free. So now they're wandering the wilderness from a graveyard, perhaps. Maybe the bandits are on their way to the graveyard to loot, and they actually encounter the very zombies. Now, as far as day or night, I'm not too worried about that. Okay, First, the pace for the bandit leader is a 6. So that's 6 inches. So let me measure how far that can go. 6 inches. That's going to be, he is going to actually order either hold or have his goblins go first. So he's going to hold his turn. What I'll do is have the cards go up. This helps me track who is in turn. So the bandit leader will hold. Next is working our way down is all four. Remember, this initiative card represents the group, not the individual. So each goblin can move 5 inches. So this guy will go here. This goblin will go just to here. This one will follow behind, and this guy will go here. Okay, that's their move. Now it is the zombie mutant. He's going to, well, he's a zombie, so they're not the most intellectual of people, of the undead. So the zombie mutant can, actually not necessarily undead per se. I'm thinking vampires. The zombie mutant has a pace of 6. So he can move practically anywhere in this radius. He's going to go first here. Perhaps the goblins or the zombies, they're giving off scent. I'd say, to be fair, both sides, if the zombies can smell. Well, you know what? Because this is my lore, let's roll and ask Oracle. Can the zombies smell? Can they sense the goblins across the way here? I don't think that this is kind of an elevated hill here. These are elevated flat mesas in between. Remember, this map is more so for BattleTech, so big mechs. So it's a little zoomed out more than usual. The 50-50, can the zombies sense or smell anything around them, any other beings? 50% chance. That's a no, they can't. So they have no smell, no sensory to what's coming up, upcoming. So the zombie mutant has moved. Next is going to be the uh, zombies themselves. They have a smaller pace of 4, so they can't really go too far, but they're going to they're just kind of wandering through aimlessly, following the leader more so, or staying around him. So they're all going to just wander around, kind of protecting the leader, the zombie mutant. Okay, back to the bandit leader. He is going to pace of 6, so he can be practically anywhere in this area. He's right here. They're going to cross. They're going to go through this small canyon. Next is the goblins with their move of 5, their pace of 5. This goblin's going to go up here as far as he can. This won't follow behind. So now they're kind of one by one. There we go. I think the leader's going to be right about behind. So basically, these guys are a meat shield. The leader gives not a single damn about them. Now we're going to the zombie leader, the mutant. Okay. He has a pace of 6. He can go practically straight ahead. I'd say it's going to go, let's basically just try and speed this up a bit. Okay, the ace is up. That's going to be the zombies. They have a pace of 4. They're kind of falling behind. We'll basically move them up, right behind. They'll go right behind like that. Okay, now we're getting about halfway through the map, and this open field, besides these trees, is going to obviously the next move or two, next round. I don't follow Savage Worlds rules exactly. I keep the initiative the entire time. But basically, once these goblins enter this open area, we can guarantee that 1 or 2 of those zombies will see them and thus will rush, depending on who has the first move. Okay, so zombies went. Now it's back to Jack, the leader. pace of 6. He is kind of stuck behind, so he can't do much. He's going to just move up a hair. Now we have the goblins. They have the move of 5. Okay, so he's going to move here, and he is the first one to officially see the zombies. This guy will go here. He will go just about here. Again, they're kind of all in line like that. Like that. Okay, the leader is stuck back there. All right. Now, the big guy. Now, let's compare stats, just for reference. Most likely the minions will encounter the boss. That is what they're dealing with. Okay, so 2 is the leader. Let me write these down before I forget. Whoops. There we go. In case, they get jumbled up and start to intertwine. So the Jack is the bandit uh, leader. The 8 is going to be the goblins. The 2 is the zombie mutant. And the ace is the zombies themselves. Okay, that will help keep track. Now, the zombie mutant, pace of 6, he's going to actually, he's behind his trees. So he doesn't actually see them, but what he will do is move this direction right here. Then he sees the goblin bandits. Now we are at the actual zombies. They have a smaller move of 4. This zombie won't be right there. This one will be right behind. This one will be right here. And then this last one is falling behind right there. Okay, looks like goblins will get the first strike, possibly. Back to the bandit leader. The bandit leader, he can move 6. So through the bushes here, just kind of perhaps right there realistically. It's kind of bending into the canyon there. Next is we have the 5 pace of each. Now, are these zombies in distance? They are. Okay, so what we'll do here, we'll do our first strike, our first attack. This goblin, they only have a short spear. They all have short spears. Strength D4. So he will go first, and he's just 5. He's going to attack without really any order. He's mindless, just running up. He sees the zombie. He's going to strike. The leader's not aware what's going on until we get to the leader next. So the goblin is going to strike the boss right heads up there, and that's going to be strength, which is D4 for the goblin. Let me grab that really quick. And then no wild die, but strength plus D4. I'm sorry, for fighting, it's just a D6. I'm forgetting a D6. Here we go. Oops. That's going to be, let me get my tray. Let's see, that's a 3. Let's just see how the trays work out. This mat does have some roll to it. We'll use the mat for now. Okay, so he rolled a 3. That's nowhere hit at the toughness of 9 for the zombie mutant. So these guys are at a huge disadvantage. That's obviously not a hit. But remember, the dice can explode too. Okay, so I'll keep this die here nearby. He can re-roll. He can spend the Benny, but we still have the other four goblins to move. So he is here. He runs up to help his friend. The other goblin rushes ahead. At 5, this one rushes up here. They're rather disorganized, not the brightest. Okay, now That's all they can do, really. Okay, perhaps I might be missing something, but that's all they can really do. Goblins have infravision, but it's just say daylight. Two is the leader. He is he is faced. He is in striking distance with that one goblin. Okay, that's a wild card, so that has the six. The white one is the wild card die. The wild die. Sorry. And his fighting skill, he's going to use his claws, which is a fighting, so D8. Okay, so rolling the fighting. That is, look at that. So it explodes, and roll again. So 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 11 was a total of the attack against the goblin, who has a toughness of 4. So that's 8, that's 1 raise. So 11 is 1 raise. If it's the 8, it's a wound. So 1 raise is a wound, I believe. So 0 to 3 is a shaken. That's a wound. So that means this goblin is dead. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's how it works. If it was a 0 to 3, it's a shaken. But perhaps it wants to use a Benny. Will will the goblin use a Benny? Because again, the rate it was 11. That's 1 raise of an 8. It kind of helps that the toughness is 4, makes it easier for math. But 50-50, will it use a Benny? Oh my gosh, it will. That's a solid 9. It will use a Benny to soak the damage. If I'm doing this right, we're spending the 1 Benny out of 2 for the entire goblin group. We're spending it to, I think, do a vigor check. So its vigor is a d6. It has to roll at the usual d4, and that's a fail. Okay, so the Benny's gone. That goblin cannot soak the damage, thus he has been defeated and off the side here. Okay, that's all the, well, actually, the zombie has an advantage called a edge called Frenzy, which is 2 attacks but minus penalty. However, there's not really any goblins within 5 feet. I'd say, to be fair, we'll move on from there. Next is, oh, you know what? Yep, that's it. Okay. Next is the group of zombies watching this unfold. Now, the zombies have, let's say this is the moving phase, if we're thinking Warhammer, um, which I know very little about. Zombies have a pace of 4, which is pretty pathetic, but let's get rid of this dice here. Keep the wild die in there. Okay, so there's a zombie here. He's going to attack this goblin. Okay, so no wild die for this guy. But this zombie, that's his first attack with our extra zombies. Our fighting die is a d6. The toughness of the goblins are 4. Oops, that's a 6. Thus, it explodes. And it explodes again. I'm out of d6s. Hold on. Here we go. I have a couple more. All right. Trying to get some roll here. Okay. Wow. That's the total. Okay. So we have 12. We have 16 total. Yikes. Okay. So I believe I made a mistake last time. I didn't calculate damage against the last attack. So this is indeed a hit. It's over parry. I made a huge mistake. My apologies. Parry is the first step in calculating damage of the attack. So we'll keep moving. I made a mistake. I went straight to toughness. I made a mistake. Okay, parry. So how does this do against the parry? So the parry of the goblins. Oh, these should be actually red. I'm already messing up. There's a lot to handle, but it is extremely fun. So just kind of pushing through. There we go. Let's get those out of there. Okay, we're still in the zombies' turn. So that is a 12 and a 16 total. The parry of the goblin's 5. That's easily over it. Now, when you get raises on attacks, you get an extra d6 for damage every raise, I think. So this is, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's one raise. 10, 11, 12, 13. That's two raises. 14, 15, 16. So that's two raises. So that's two extra d6 for attack. I'll keep this off to the side. That does indeed hit. Now we calculate damage, which I was doing mistakenly missed last time. I combined with toughness and parry. Okay, the goblin's parry is, sorry, toughness is 4, which means the zombie's attack is a claw and it's just the strength, which is a d6. So 6 is a hit, and the goblin's toughness is 4. Then we roll the extra d6. That's a 2, and then the other extra d6. That is huge. Okay, so 12, 13, 14. That's way over the toughness factor, which means this goblin has been decimated. Okay, good. Wow. All right. So this zombie is complete, or this zombie is done. Next is the ones back here. Their pace is 4. He's going to walk the bushes, but only so far. This one is going to walk up behind the leader. This zombie is going to go here. Okay, back to the top. The bandit leader is like, what the hell's going on up there? And he or she is going to move up 6, which is right up to the top here. Or we can do a bow. So right here, well, I have not done range combat yet. Okay, so here we go. Range combat. He has a bow. Standard bow, it's a 12, 24, 40 distance, 2d6. He has a shooting of, I did not write it down, like a dork. So let me make it up as I go here. I'll give him shooting of, surprised I didn't put shooting die. Let's do shooting of a D. His fighting is a D6. Because he's a rogue, I'll say a D8. I'll put a star right here. I forgot to include it. This was based on an archetype. So shooting is right down here with the bow. Okay. Now, it is well within distance, 12 inches for the first, so no penalties at all. But there is some trees. So what he's going to do is shoot at this zombie here. The one he can kind of see clearly right there. This little brush is not in the way. Okay, so the shooting die is a D8, and he's a wild card, so that gives him an extra D6 to roll with the blue D8 shooting die. Let's see if it hits. The parry of that regular zombie of 5. That's not going to hit. Okay, so he fires the bow and misses. We can use the bow. Let's use a Benny to re-roll that. For spending a Benny to re-roll that whole entire roll. There we go. 5 actually hit. So good call on re-rolling. The 5 hits the parry exactly, and now we roll for damage. With this, it is going to be 2d6s. With the bow. Thus, the toughness of the zombie is a, can't forget the wild card, the wild die, is a 7. So the zombies do have a decent toughness. Okay, so this one explodes. These two we ignore. Let's put these away. Okay, so this explodes. That explodes again. A lot of acing today. And then, all right, so that's 12, 15, 17. Okay, so the toughness is 7. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a wound. 12, 13, 14, 15. That is, I'm sorry, that was shaken, then a wound. This zombie is out. Okay, there we go. That's all he can do. Next is the 2 remaining goblins. Okay, we did spend the Benny on the leader. All right, so these have spears. They have a pace of 5, thus they're going after. He'll move up here and attack the leader. No wild die for this guy. Okay, so he has a fighting of a d6. Remember, we need to explode because the zombie has a parry of 6. So it can't hit. 5, that's a fail. The other zombie is just within range to get up close and personal and attack this zombie. All right, he's going to attack that guy. We're rolling again with fighting d6. 5 is going to hit the parry of 5 of the normal zombies. So that is a hit. Thus, the damage will be the strength and a d4 for the weapon of the spear. Now rolling for damage. That is a measly 2, which is no good over their toughness of their rather high 7. So that is to no effect. All right. Now we have the leader. The leader is obviously just going to attack the closest goblin. He has a wild die when attacking with his fighting skill of a d8. All right. That's going to be not enough. The goblin has a parry of 5. So got very lucky there. All right. But does he want to spend a Benny to reroll? Also looking at his edges. He can do 2 attacks. Frenzy. We'll do that. Okay, he's going to reroll again, or he's going to roll his frenzy, but -2 penalty for the strike. That's oh, that's a critical fail. Okay, so that's a critical fail. But how to critical fail okay, here's the critical fail. As the GM, we will not let him roll use a Benny to re-roll, which you can't really do anyways with this. But we need to figure out maybe the goblin can get an attack on him. Okay, so here's what we'll do. The goblin gets an attack on him, bypassing his parry, but the goblin has to ace. I keep using the blue die for the. My apologies. I'm trying to use red for the right and blue for the left, but I keep using blue. All right, this goblin's getting a free attack on the boss, but he has to roll a toughness of 9. Well, 6 to explode, and that's a fail. So he did critical fail. No Benny allowed to reroll on that, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have to go to the zombies. 4 of them. This guy's going to attack this goblin here using his fighting die of a d6. This time I remember it's a red against the toughness parry of 5. That's a 3. That's a fail. This zombie, will go behind and attack that same goblin. Fighting die of d6 against a parry of 5. That's a hit. Did I? I think I did hit last time. Nope, I didn't. So that's a hit. Okay. Calculate damage. Claws is just a strength roll. Okay, it has to hit. Oh, that's not good enough. The toughness is 4 of a goblin. So that's a fail. This last zombie will go through bushes and strike this goblin here. Okay, so we're rolling for attack. The fighting die of a d6. Oops, reroll interference. There we go. 3. That's not enough. Okay. Back to the leader. The goblin, or the bandit leader. He's going to get closer to this zombie. And he actually has a special ability, an edge. He has Assassin, +2 damage, if it hits. So he is going to just get up behind this zombie and strike, giving him a +2 in damage, specifically. So, roll the wild die with his fighting of a d6. Remember to use blue this time. There we go. Okay, so 5 is what we will use. And then that's going to hits the parry of 5 of a zombie, but now we have to roll for damage. So, plus 2 damage on this roll of his, let's say, short sword. So the strength plus the d6. So 2d6. Might as well just use this one. There we go. Oh, and the wild die. I almost forgot. Okay, so strength plus 6, which is, yep, okay. All right, so, okay. Strength plus, so plus is included. Now, we have to include the highest, and then I'm going to include one of these to give him, I believe I can hack the game like that. So 4 plus 2, that's 5, 6 with the bonus. However, the zombie's toughness is 7, so that's a fail. It does not hit. Just checking over my writing here. Yep, that's not a hit. Okay. Unfortunately, he did hit, but the attack did not do any damage. All right, so that's it for the bandit leader. Now we do the remaining 2 goblins. This goblin is going to attack this same zombie right here. Okay, we're rolling for a standard fighting skill of a d6. 5 is enough to hit the parry of the zombie. And then it's going to be strength plus the d4 to hit a parry of 7. Let's reroll the d6 interference. 4. Let's see, that's 5, 6. That's one short. That's not enough. They're not. I believe I made this a little unfair, to not balance correctly. But we have this other zombie attacking the boss. This dice has to explode. Let's see if it actually hits. So we're rolling fighting d6. 5. That's not enough. Parry is 6. Okay. Now it is going to be the zombie mutant. He's going to attack the goblin right in front of him. This is a whole thing is a mess. These two parties are not very intellectual. The bandit king, the bandit lord, or what do you want to call him, leader, had some smarts playing it far, but he ran it right up there. Okay, so the boss, the zombie mutant, is rolling, fighting with a D wild die and a D8. Okay, against the parry of 5. The his standard fighting die does hit. We will ignore the wild die. And now we need to land an attack. The damage, let's use his club, which I've not actually used his club yet. I don't think I have. So we roll the club, strength plus a d6. I forgot, I don't think you roll the wild die for damage. Do a quick rules check. Like I said earlier, I'm still learning this game, so I do apologize. This entire time I think I was rolling the wild die with damage for the wild cards, which I believe you don't do based on some quick research. So never mind on that. We're rolling damage for the zombie leader. He hit the goblin. He needs to beat a toughness of 4. We're rolling the club, at least re-rolling. I stepped away for a second, and the strength. That's going to be a hit. So 7. Then we have 11 total. So 8, 9, 10, 11. No acing. So 11 over the toughness of 4. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1 success. Shaken. 9, 10, 11, 12. So, okay, this goblin is shaken. That's our first shaken for today. I'll spread these guys out a bit. And again, I do apologize. I've been rolling a wild die the entire time, I think, for damage, which is what you don't do. Okay, so he's shaken. But he has fury. He can strike again. Will the goblin spend a Benny to last remaining Benny, 50%, actually 75% chance. Oh, yep, 71. I was thinking about it. He suspended Benny to become unshaken, which you don't have to roll any test for, at least in my world. Okay, that Benny's out, or that was the last Benny for the zombies, the goblins themselves. Okay, now it's the frenzy attack, but -2. So this is the wild die for fighting with a D8 and the wild die against the goblin. -2, though. Okay, so that's 3. That's not going to hit. Okay, so the frenzy did not work. All right, so now it's the regular zombies. This guy is going to walk up here. He's going to walk up, she'll walk up behind the goblin. And this one will turn to the leader of the bandits. She will go first against that goblin. She will strike with her fighting die of a d6 against the toughness, a parry of 5. 5 is a hit. Okay, so claws is just a strength roll. 3, that is not enough, that's not enough to do toughness. But does she want to re-roll for that? I say she will. So she will re-roll for damage. Toughness of 4. Look at that. That's shaken. So this goblin, once again, he just spent a Benny and now he's shaken once again. All right. This zombie is going to attack the goblin right in front of him. This will be a fighting of a d6. There we go. Against, ooh, that explodes. So the first one's there. Okay. And then parry is 5. Remember that. There we go. So that's going to be 7 total. The parry is 5. That's within 3. So now we roll for damage. And that's going to be a, let's see, claws is just a strength roll. 4. Toughness is 4, which is another shaken. So we'll move these guys out of the way. I wish I had smaller chips just for these, but that's what I have to work with now. Okay. Find them there. Alrighty. So now, just doing some organization here off camera, putting some dice on top of the character sheets to what the fighting die they have assigned. So D4, and then the D8 is red. I've been rolling blue. I keep forgetting to roll D8 for the zombie. All right. The next zombie is going to attack the leader of the bandits. That's going to be a regular D6 roll with fighting against the parry of 5. Ooh, that explodes. So we have another roll. Ooh, another explosion. Okay, ace. Another ace. Ace Venturas. All right. Wow. Okay, so this gives us an extra D6 to roll for damage. Now here's how I'm going to do this. So that's 12, 13, 14, I think. So 14, let's see. Parry is of the leader. Parry is 5. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 1 raise. Let's see. 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 2 raises. So that's 2d6s extra damage on the damage rolls coming up here. All right, so 2 extra d6 rolls. All right, this is going to be claws versus, I'm sorry, 2 extra d4. I'm going to say d6s. So it's the strength die. Yep. Okay. Rolling 3d6. All right, that's going to be that for, this is damage now. If I'm doing this right. 10, 13. So his toughness is 6. So that's looking at, let's see, 13. We have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 1 raise, I think. 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 1 success. So that's 1 wound. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, that's 1 wound. All right, so that's our first wound for the day. Well, our first extra wound. Sorry, first wound for a wild card. But will he soak it? Let's try it. He's going to spend a token to soak it. We have to do a vigor check. So D6 with the wild die, which is blue. I keep messing up my dice. I'll never get this right. I'll never get the colors accurate. Okay, spending a token to soak it. If not, that wound stays. Ooh, look at that. So the target goal is obviously 4, so he's good. He's going to take away that wound, and he's fine. He soaks it. Not bad at all. But he did sacrifice a Benny for that. Okay. Now, who's left? That's it. Okay, so the zombies are done. Next, we're back to the leader. He's going to use attack the zombie that just hit him, and he will use his short sword, which is a strength plus 6, d6. But first, we got to do the fighting die with a wild die. That is going to be the wild die. Looks like it actually hits the parry of 5, and thus we roll for damage, which is going to be the short sword plus a d6. That's 2d6s. There we go. Okay, 5. That's a 7. So 7 is equal to the toughness of the zombie, thus he is also wounded. The zombie is not going to use a token or a penny to spend. All right, that's it. That's all the bandit leader can do. Next is the goblins. They are all wounded. So what I will do is, let's see, they have to do a spirit check to rattle off that shaken. I'm going to stay there and do a spirit check. Not going to bother pulling the book out. So the spirit check will be for each zombie. They can't move, but I will let them attack if they succeed. If they don't, they'll get a -2 penalty for attacking. All right. So the spirit check for the bandit, I'm sorry, for the bandit goblin is a d6. So 4 or there it is, explodes, and that's enough. We can do explosion if we do an ace. Okay, yeah. So he's not shaken anymore. All right. Then the next one, we'll do it. Okay. We're doing a spirit check. 5. Nice. Okay, so this goblin is no longer shaken. I'll move these guys a little closer because of that chip. All right. Good, 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 good. Now they're going to attack. So this goblin's going to attack. I'll let them attack here. This dwarf zombie is actually a dwarf. And this will be a standard fighting die. 3, which is not enough. Okay, this zombie is going to attack the. I'm sorry, this goblin's going to attack that zombie right there. We're rolling for fighting. 2 is not enough. Okay, now it is going to be the boss. He's going to go after. He actually is going to go after this goblin here. He somewhat lunges, and that will be a fighting die with a d6 wild die. 3 is not enough at all to do anything. But Fury, -2. Frenzy, -2 on this roll. But he's not happy with that. He's going to spend a Benny, which was his first Benny, I believe, to re-roll that last roll. Okay, so look at that. The D6 does explode. I'm sorry, the D8, nothing explodes. I'm sorry. The D6, ignoring the wild die, the D6 hits that goblin a parry of 6, a 5. Thus, we roll for damage. His damage with the club is going to be the strength die rolled of D6. So that is total, that's 6. That is a, over toughness of 4, that's a wound. We're back to wounded. Just a back and forth. These goblins are really, they have a lot of luck right now. Okay. Now, we are back to the zombies. This one goes right here. This one stays on the small one, and this wounded zombie, we will do a, let's do a spirit check for that zombie that has the wound, the, what's it called? The shaken condition. That's a spirit check, and they have a measly d4, so pretty pathetic, but it has to explode or get 4. Okay, nope, still failed. So that zombie cannot do much right now. And if it tries to, it'll be -2. Now, this zombie is going to attack the goblin that's normal right now with a d6 Okay. 2 is not a hit. This zombie is going to attack the shaken goblin. 3, which is not enough. Okay, back to the leader. The leader's going to go after this shaken zombie, and he has the fighting die and the wild die. Okay, so ignoring the wild die, we have an 8. Let's get our blue d6 out to roll the second hit. Okay, so that's a 9 over the toughness of 7. That's 9 total. That's going to hit. Now we roll for damage. The zombie's toughness is 7. I'm sorry, that was over parry. Oh, so 6. Yeah, that's not an 8. That's not an ace at all. Well, parry 5, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is a 1 raise. That's an extra d6 of damage for this next roll that we will doing for the leader. So damage roll of his short sword plus strength will include a third d6. That's going to be 6. And then 7, which is equal to the toughness. Thus, this shaken zombie is eliminated. That's a wound. All right, excellent. Now, we are on equal ground now. Okay, the bandit is going to turn to the leader of the zombies. The bandit, that leader, that's all he can do. Now we are with the, let's see, which way is he facing here? All right, so he's going to turn to this other zombie, but he has to do a spirit roll to lose that shaken. He has no tokens, or sorry, no bennies left. And that's going to be the spirit roll of the goblin bandit is a d6. 3, that's not enough. Okay. But he's going to attack with -2 modifier on this goblin here with his d6 fighting. Oh, 5 minus 2 is 3. That's not enough anyways. Okay. This goblin's going to attack this zombie. They've been at it for a while now. So d6. Oh, explodes. Okay. That's going to be a hit anyways, because parry's 5 of the zombies. All right, so 7, 8. That's a shaken. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got to roll for damage. That is a standard hit. Success. 8. Yep, parry is a 5, 6, 7, 8. That's within 4. Within 3. Okay, rolling for damage with the strength plus a d4 against that zombie. Okay, so 3 plus 2, that's 5. The toughness is 7, that's not a hit. Unfortunately, no damage is done. All right, and that's all we can do with the goblins. Now it's the zombie leader. He turns to and rushes the bandit leader, face to face with the boss. Okay, now things will get serious here. Let's see, the zombie mutant is going to roll for attack using the D8 fighting die and his wild die against the bandit king, the bandit leader who has a parry of 5. That's not enough. Okay, frenzy, -2 again, -2 modifier. Whoops, but look at that, it explodes. Whoops, aces, sorry. Ignoring the wild die, it aces, gets to roll again. 2, so that's 10 minus 2, that's 8. That's a hit over parry. 6, 7, 8, that's within 4, or 3, so it does not count as any raise. So that is a hit. Now we roll for damage. The damage of the club is a strength plus the d6, so 2d6s. Yep, oh my gosh, ooh, okay, so I made a huge mistake here. The strength of the zombie mutant is a d12 plus 1. I made a huge mistake this whole entire time. Let's see, d12, which I don't use often. Okay, well, we're going to do it. My apologies, people. I have been not using his proper strength die plus 1. So this roll is a 8 10 plus 1's 11 over toughness of 6. So let me do this. And it actually should be, uh, this is why solo is so tough. It's hard to keep track of all these little details. That, let's see, this, just to keep it proper. Okay, okay, that's 11 total because 10 plus the 1 from the bonus of strength based on the bestiary, that's 11. Now, the parry, I'm sorry, the toughness is 6 of the bandit leader. So, let's see, we need 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's one success. He is wounded. Okay, so he's wounded. There we go. All right, there we go. I'll try to remember that for moving forward for the D12 that that zombie mutant has for strength, which is pretty significant. But he can actually spend a Benny to soak it if he wants. Will he soak it? He has one Benny remaining, 75% chance. That is a yes, he will. Okay, so that's his last Benny. The Zombie King, the Zombie Mutant still has two Bennies, FYI. So he spends it to soak it. So we'll do a Vigor roll, which is a D6, along with the Wild die, to see if he can soak that wound. That is a yes. He's able to soak it. That wound is gone. All right. So while the others are dropping like flies, the leaders are still in the fight. All right, so that's all for the bandit, the zombie mutant. Now it's the actual zombies themselves. This dwarf zombie is going after the shaken goblin with a D6 fighting die. 2 is not enough. This one walks over here, attacking from the side, rolling for attack. 5 is actually enough to hit the parry of 5. So now we roll for damage, which is claws plus strength. It's just a strength roll. Okay, 1 is not enough at all. Toughness of 4. Okay, back to the bandit leader. He's in a fury with this zombie mutant, and he's going to use his fighting die of a d6 and the wild die against the parry of 6. Look at that. So the regular die explodes. Aces. Rolling again. 4, that's 10 over the parry of 6. So 7, 8, 9, 10, that's a raise. So we'll roll an extra d6 of damage. To roll for damage, we're using the short sword. That's a strength of a d6. And a d6 again, along with a third d6 I'm giving him for a raise. Okay, so that is there. There we go. That's the total damage. So 9, 10, 11. 11 against toughness of 9, it's just a shaken. Not worthy of a wound. This zombie mutant has a toughness of 9, which is the highest in the whole entire this whole entire match. So that's within 3. But he is, again, this is, I think this is his first time being shaken. I lost track after everything. But let's see, it's right there. Okay, next is the goblins. This goblin is going to do a spirit check to lose that shaken status. Spirit check is a d6. He's a 4, and there you go. It explodes. Oh my gosh, it explodes again. A lot of acing today. All right, one more. Look at that. It literally 3. I'm out of blues. I got one more blue. Okay. There's no way this is going to. Look at that. 5. Okay, wow. How to treat this? a trait test. 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yep. So, wow. Okay. Whew. Okay. 6, 12, 18. That's 24. Wow. 24. So that's okay. Okay. So my character sheets, I have, I'm a reference here for raises. So let's see. 16. So one, two, three, four, five raises. Five raises. What can I do? You know what? For that, I'm going to give him two bennies. He loses the sulk. He soaks the shaken, and he gets two bennies back for himself or for the group. So that is huge because and he gets an extra d6 for the next attack roll, just to make it fair. Okay, so kind of his own little wild die. Now he's going to attack this dwarf here, this dwarf zombie, with his extra d6. That was a lot. Wow, okay, that was exciting. Now let's roll for attack. 5 plus the 1. I'm going to consider it as an add-on, not as a separate wild die. That's a 6. That hits his parry of 5. Now we roll for damage. Damage is a d4 plus... Oh, 2d4s. I've been making a mistake. See, this happens quite often when I'm doing all of this. I've been making a mistake. The strength die of a goblin is actually d4, so it's 2d4s. Okay, let's roll for damage. I'll give him a d6 because of that earlier acing. Okay, so 3, 6, 9. 9 over the toughness of 7. That's a wound. There we go. Okay, so that goblin definitely had a marathon of success there. And I've been using the wrong dice like I did with the d12 for the zombie mutant. But anyways, this zombie is going to attack the leader from behind. I'll give him a +2 for this. So let's see. That'll be a d6 fighting die. 3 plus 2, that's 5. The zombie mutant's parry 6, that's no good. Okay, now the leader is going to attack once again the... Actually, no, the leader's going to turn around and attack the goblin that just struck him in the back, or tried to. All right, so a wild die of a d6 and the fighting die of a d8. There we go. The red d8. Keep grabbing the wrong one. Okay. Okay, so ignoring the wild die, 7 is indeed a hit, one away from an ace. The goblin has a toughness of 4, a parry, sorry, of 5, so that's a hit. Now we roll for damage. Damage is a big one. That hits the goblin. Damage is the club is a d12 plus a d6. All right, so let's grab that d12 again. At least I remember this time, the d6 plus 1. Okay, so we're going up against a toughness of a measly 4. Okay, so that's a 6. 8 plus 1, that's 9. That is above a wound. The toughness is 8, so 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8. That's well above the wound territory, which means this goblin has been decimated. All right. Okay, that's it for the zombie leader. Now it's the zombies themselves. This zombie is going to walk up to this goblin here. This zombie is going to do a spirit test to lose that shaken. And the spirit test is a d4, which is not too impressive. Now we'll do the red one. Look at that. That's a 4, which means it explodes. And it aces. 3. Okay, so that's really nothing special. So, okay, it loses the shaken condition. And now it moves up here. So they both are going to gang up on... Okay, so I completely forgot. There is I don't know if it's an optional rule or it's an included rule in general, but you can do a positive modifier for anybody who's nearby, kind of like as an assist. So let's say this goblin here I'm sorry, this zombie dwarf attacks the goblin with a +1 because he has an ally nearby. We'll do that. Whether or not it's a house roll, I'm going to be doing that. So this zombie is attacking with the typical D6. That is a +1 on top of the roll. 7, it explodes. Or well, it explodes. Oh my god, it explodes again. I swear I'm rolling these normally. Okay, so that is going to be 12, 13, 14. And a target number was 5. So, target number is 5. So, let's see, 12, 13. That's 6, 7, 8, 9. That's one raise. 10, 11, 12, 13. That's two raises, which means additional 2d6, I'm going to say, for damage. And now we roll for damage roll. Damage is claws, and the strength is a d6. We'll roll an additional d6 with all three. All right, look at that. I think I might be doing that wrong, but you know what? It's fun. I'm going to keep doing that. As long as it's fun. That is 10, 11. Yeah. So he is out. 11, yeah, 14. That's 16 damage, I think. Yep, 16 damage. Yeah, that goblin's out. He's been obliterated, even with the modifier. Okay. The leader is on his own, and I think he's going to, let's see, what's he going to do? He's going to flee. So what we'll do, we can just claim victory for the zombies, but I'm going to have him do an agility check to see if he can actually flee, because he's right nearby. He's going to try to run out of here. So we'll do a D8 with a wild die. His agility is D6. Yep, agility is D8, the wild die. Can he do it? It's a 4, obviously. He does. He flees. So he bolts out. The zombies kind of wander, walking his direction, but they're not fast enough. So, thus, game over. Match goes to the victor, which are Team Zombie. Okay, so let's recap. That was pretty exciting. I enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did a lot wrong in the beginning. I was rolling a wild die of damage. Again, I'm learning this game, but stuff like this really helps me out. Just learn the game. I was controlling, a handful of extras and 2 wild cards. So counting bennies, counting wild die rolls, making sure I'm rolling to the best of my ability the correct die. Re-rolling with spending bennies, but overall, I did enjoy this. This is not particularly part of the Shadowscape campaign. This is an isolated event and entirely experiment, just to kind of bring like basically a battle royale using Savage Worlds. So I guess like a showdown, which I think they do have an existing document called Showdown in Savage Worlds for an older edition. But that's really it for the video. I hope you guys had fun. I certainly did. I've been on my feet the entire time. And that's really it. Please subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.